All right, guys. So I stumbled across this absolutely incredible clip featuring Josh Hawley questioning some generals about military recruitment. Now, military recruitment is probably one of the biggest issues facing our country that we're not talking about, as military recruitment has significantly fallen over the past few years for various reasons. Okay, some people say it's because of the bureaucracy. Some people say that the military is not what it used to be anymore, specifically when talking about issues like wokeness. A lot of kids aren't even in shape to serve in the military. Like, they're not medically capable of serving in the military because they're obese. There are a number of issues and reasons why people aren't signing up for the military. And it is a problem that Josh Hawley appears to be trying to address as he confronts a couple of generals here on some topics that are pertinent to military recruiting, including housing and wokeness. And I thought that Josh Hawley did an excellent job with his questioning here, and that's why I wanted to share this, because this is important stuff.
Thank you very much to the ranking member, and thank you, Madam Chair, and thanks to the witnesses for being here. General Stitt, let me talk with you, and we start with you if I could. I have spoken repeatedly with the Secretary of the Army about replacing aging homes at Fort Leonard Wood in my home state, and there is no doubt in my mind that service members deserve better than they are getting right now. I was just there a few weeks ago. I toured the homes myself. I spoke to residents. I spoke to spouses. I spoke to children who lived in the homes. These homes need to be replaced. What concerns me is the Army doesn't seem to have a plan to replace this aging housing stock. So let me just ask you this. In your opinion, how does the availability, or maybe lack of availability, of quality military housing for service members and their families affect recruiting and retention?
Before you answer that question, I just want to say this. It's a shame that a question like this even has to be asked, that a congressman goes and visits a military base and sees that the housing is not in good shape, that we have our service members that, we claim as a country that we honor you, okay? We have them living in places that are not suitable to live. Now, growing up, my uncle was in the military, so I spent a lot of time in military bases in, North Carolina, mainly Jacksonville, in that area. You would think that all service members would be provided with, a decent place to stay and to live without these types of issues. However, that's just simply not the case. And then when asked about it, here comes the bureaucracy and why nothing ever gets done about it.
Senator Hawley, good afternoon. The Army takes the care and quality of life of all of our service members and their families very seriously. So we are making and committed to investing in our housing, within not just that, but within our daycare centers, child care, offering opportunities, expanding beyond that for spousal employment, to put kind of a whole package on the table to ensure that our facilities and our care and commitment towards family members is first class.
You say a whole package. When will we be seeing this package?
Senator, we continue to work on it, and I can take that question for the record, please.
Well,
so no answer, right? No answer. This is a shame. I wish these congressmen, I wish there was a rule that prevents these people who get asked these questions from filibustering like this, right? From giving these BS answers. I mean, you're speaking to the Senate, okay? This is a congressional hearing, and you're giving BS when asked a question, a very important question about why is it that our service members are living in housing that is subpar. Should not be happening in a country like America where we spend so much money on the military, right? Shouldn't be happening.
That's fine. I mean, but let me just say again, for the record, I've said this in the full committee, I'll say it again here, that I think we're past the point of continuing to kick this down the road. I mean, this is a problem now. Frankly, at Fort Leonard Wood, it was a problem a decade ago. But listen, I've been there. I mean, I've seen it myself. I've talked to the service members myself. I've been in their houses. I've been in their kitchens. I've looked at their bathrooms where there's mold growing. I've seen that they don't have places for their kids. I've seen the substandard living conditions, and it just isn't acceptable, General. You know what? I promised those service members that I'd be a royal pain in the you-know-what until something changed.
Isn't that what your politician's supposed to do? Right? There's a prime example of what your politician's supposed to do. They're supposed to come, check out the living conditions, see what the actual problem is for themselves, listen to the people, and then do what they got to do to press the people in charge on why something is not getting done. Why is it not getting fixed? I'm telling you, man, Josh Hawley, I really want to see this man be president, right? I really do. Okay, I like Trump and Ron DeSantis, but honestly, I probably like Josh Hawley just as much, if not more, than I like them. This guy is incredibly smart. Okay, he's probably one of the most talented GOP senators that we have. He really is a very smart guy, right? You can tell. And I think that if it wasn't for the whole January 6th thing, which I think is BS, right? Them trying to frame him as doing something that was unheard of, which was not, which was contesting the election, something that Democrats did under Trump. They did when Bush won. They do every time they lose. They're acting like, well, Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz, they should be disqualified from being president because they did something that Democrats did, which is contest the election in Congress. So if it wasn't for that, I would be very confident that Josh Hawley would be in a great position to eventually one day become president. But admittedly, the January 6th thing is going to be hard for him to shake off, right? It really is, just because of how the mainstream liberal media has covered that whole situation.
So I'm keeping that commitment, and I'm going to continue it until something changes. And frankly, I've heard this now it's going on 2 years. I've only been in the Senate 3, but I've heard it continuously that, well, we'll get to it, we'll get to it, we'll get to it. Well, at Fort Leonard Wood, we haven't gotten to it.
Bureaucracy, bro. Bureaucracy. That's the issue with the whole government. It's too big. It's too big, and stuff like this is what happens.
And I bet, if we went around the table here, I bet that the other members of the subcommittee would have the same situation in their state. So I'll give you the question for the record, but I just want to put on notice again, and you can take this back, that I want to see some progress on this, and I want to see it soon. And what I don't want to see are any more commitments from the Army that they're going to spend X number of dollars. This happened last year. We're going to commit X number of dollars to Fort Leonard Wood, and then as it turns out, $0 were spent on housing. I'm still ticked off about that. And I don't want to see it happen again, and I want to see progress made. So that's my piece. I think you understand where I'm coming from. General Miller, let me come to you. Can you help me with something here? Anderson Air Force Base, I understand. This is in Guam, of course. Leaders there recently received an official email that prohibited them from using pronouns or descriptors like he, she, youngest, oldest, male, or female. Why is that? I mean, what's going on?
Senator Hawley, thank you for that question. Actually, that is, we've been talking a lot about that because it was an email, from my understanding, that went out locally from one of the commanders there, and I don't remember at what level. I don't know if it was a group commander or the wing commander there. I believe that it was a Facebook post that went out based on a question. It is not the Air Force policy to not use pronouns. And so I think it was a social media, exacerbated by individuals that said that they were directed for that.
Yeah, that may be true, but does that mean that it's not a policy in that Air Force base? Because that's what it sounds like, right? It might not be official Air Force policy, but at that Air Force base, it sounds like that's what they're enforcing, okay? Wokeness, which again, you got to question. How does this help us with fighting a war, okay? How does that help? It doesn't help. Here's a wild idea. Maybe, just maybe, if you can't handle somebody using a wrong pronoun towards you, then you probably shouldn't be in the military. The military probably is not for you.
Okay, good. Well, I think that's progress. So you're saying, I'm looking at a news article here published August 31, 2022, saying that PACAF has sent this letter around. Leaders of the base are instructed, do not use pronouns, age, race, etc. And they go on. The unauthorized examples of unauthorized language are male, female, youngest, oldest, he, she. But you're saying that was not an official communication. That has not been a directive.
That is not an official communication from the HAF. Correct.
Okay. And so your position to me is today that is not policy, and that they have not been so instructed.
That is correct.
This is a social media
policy
kerfuffle. I mean, this is not real. It's not happening.
I don't know if it's not happening, but it is not an official policy from the Department of the Air Force.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what she's saying is that, well, it probably is happening, but it's not our official policy, right? So again, it's unofficial. Unofficial. That's what it sounds like to me.
Okay. I ask because part of the way it's been reported is that the rationale is to help with lethality and also recruiting. And it was curious as heck how not using he, she can help with lethality and how it's helping with recruiting. But I take your word for it that this is not policy, and that satisfies me. So thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. So it does not help with any of those things. Again, I'm not necessarily sure if you can kill your enemy by using the incorrect pronouns. Although, again, the woke revolutionaries, when they get misgendered or whatever, they act like it's the end of the world, right? They act like they're about to die. But I don't think that attack is effective against people that are living in reality, right? Which is probably most of the people that you would be fighting on the battlefield. They're probably not going to be affected by incorrect pronoun usage. So I don't think that it improves lethality of killing the enemy, but who knows? Again, it might make it easier for those people who are so focused on pronoun usage or proper pronoun usage or preferred pronoun usage, whatever you want to call it. They might be easier targets on the battlefield. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. I appreciate Josh Hawley for calling out these generals on this issue of housing and these pronouns, right? There needs to be obviously more accountability. This type of stuff just shouldn't be happening. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.